Hello and welcome back to Cellphone Philosopher episode 6, Bite-Sized Knowledge for People on the Go. My name is Tamir Jacob and today we're going to be talking about Seneca and his book on anger. And Seneca was one of the great Stoic philosophers, alongside Epicurus, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, who was the Roman emperor slash philosopher. So a bit about Seneca. So Seneca was actually born in Rome about 2,000 years ago. And he was one of the great Stoic philosophers. He was actually the advisor to the Emperor Nero and his tutor growing up. And essentially, Seneca and the Stoic philosophers in general pioneered this idea of equanimity, which is balance of mind. And it's essentially like, well, we have these intrusive thoughts, these negative thoughts throughout the day. And it talked about the philosophy of how do we disconnect from these thoughts? How do we let these thoughts fly by us and maintain balance of mind? Or even if they do annoy us, how do we get back to balance of mind and the state of well-being sooner than later? So that's what the Stoic philosophy was all about. And Seneca wrote this book on anger, and he had this really great theory as to why we get angry. Seneca said that we get angry because we have a bunch of unrealistic expectations on people and others in the world, and things in the world in general. And when they don't meet our expectations, then we get angry when we feel angry and frustrated about it. And I'll give you an example. So I actually went to Starbucks the other day on my lunch break, and I could have gone and stood in the line and said, oh my God, why do I have to stand in this line? It was actually ended up being about 30 minutes, and I could have been really annoyed and said, oh my God, this is taking so long, checked my watch a few times, got annoyed. But I actually practiced what Seneca taught me. So I went and stood in the line. As I was going into the line, I asked myself one question. I said, how long does this line look like it's going to take? And I said, okay, well, I looked at the line. And I said, well, this is probably going to take half an hour. The line's moving slowly. This is going to take me a long time to get through. Do I really want my coffee enough to wait half an hour in the line? And I asked myself that question. And I looked into myself and I said, you know what? I really feel like a coffee. I'm going to stand in the line. So I made the decision to pay the price in order to get the coffee before I undertook the action. So then I stood in the line, I then asked myself, what's the most productive thing I can do with this time? So I pulled out my cell phone, started browsing a bunch of cool philosophy articles, really interesting. And I got to the front and I was really happy. I took my coffee and I went. But again, I could have been really annoyed and said, why do I have to be here? But essentially, it was the fact that I assessed my expectations. I set high expectations. I said, well, it's probably going to take 30 minutes. And essentially, that allowed me to say, okay, well, when it took 30 minutes, I didn't get annoyed with the situation. I didn't go and say, okay, well, oh my God, why is it taking so long? Because I'd already set the expectation it was going to take 30 minutes in general. So it's essentially, that's why we get annoyed. We get angry because we set false expectations. And when we actually assess the expectations before, that's when we can essentially avert anger. So set higher expectations. Don't expect that you're never going to be stuck in traffic. Expect traffic. At 5 o'clock, go home and say, oh my God, why is there traffic? What's going on? Well, there's traffic at 5 o'clock. It's when people leave work. Expect there to be traffic. Expect yourself to be stuck in traffic. And say, okay, well, how can I do something productive with this time instead of being annoyed for being in the situation that you knew you were going to be in? So change your expectations, improve your life, and I really hope you've enjoyed this episode and taken something great from it. Have a great day.